Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating shift that's happening right under our noses, something that's changing both culture and business. We're talking about the move away from that frantic chase for massive audiences and toward building something smaller, deeper, and honestly, way more powerful, the micro-community. You know, this quote right here, it really sets the stage for everything we're going to talk about. For decades, success meant you had to get past the gatekeepers. You know, the record labels, the big publishers, the giant media companies. But that world, it's fading. And the power is shifting to something far more direct.
Okay, so let's get right into it. To really understand where things are headed, we have to get real about the world we're in right now. And hey, if you're a creator, an artist, or maybe a startup founder, you know this feeling all too well.
For so many creators and businesses, the model today feels like a constant battle. You're fighting for attention on these platforms, where the algorithms shift like sand under your feet. And that viral moment you had yesterday, it evaporates overnight. You're basically renting an audience from social media giants, and that rent is incredibly volatile. One bad month with the algorithm can just wipe out all your momentum, and you're forced to start all over again.
And look, this slide just lays it all out, right? It's the difference between renting that attention and actually owning a relationship. The mass model on the left, well, that's a frantic chase for millions of passive listeners, where your income literally resets to zero every single month. But the community model on the right, it's about serving a smaller, dedicated group, which leads to stable, predictable revenue. One is a hamster wheel, the other is a real asset you build over time. But here's the good news. A really powerful solution is emerging. It's like a quiet revolution that's reshaping everything from pop culture to how startups grow. It's a total shift in strategy. Let's see exactly how it works. And this is the big idea, making a strategic shift away from trying to be everything to everyone to instead being everything to a dedicated few. See, a micro-community isn't just a follower count. It's a tribe of true believers. They feel like they're part of something exclusive, something meaningful, and that changes everything. And hey, this is not just a theory, it's a proven model that's working right now. We see it in tech, right? Figma focused on a small group of obsessed designers who then became their biggest champions. We saw it in travel with Airbnb's very first users. And we're seeing it explode all over culture, where fan-led radio and niche music scenes are creating global trends from the bottom up, completely bypassing those old gatekeepers. So why is this small-scale approach so darn powerful? What's so cool here is how it completely flips conventional wisdom on its head. I mean, we're all taught that bigger is always better, right? Well, it turns out that's just not the case anymore. This is the kind of loyalty that algorithms just can't mess with. When your fans feel like they truly belong, they don't just consume your stuff. No, they defend your work, they share it, they fund it, and they help you grow. They become an active part of your story, and that creates a foundation that just can't be shaken by the shifting winds of some social media platform. So let's actually break down the new math of this whole economy. Forget about needing millions of fans. This entire model can start with a small, totally achievable number of true believers. We're talking about just 100 people. 100 people who are genuinely invested in what you do. And all it takes from each of those 100 fans is a modest recurring amount. Think about it, maybe the price of a coffee and a pastry, $10 a month. It's a simple subscription, a membership. It's a pretty small ask, but when you combine it all, its impact is massive. And boom, just like that, you have stable, predictable operating capital, $12,000 a year. This is the difference between just hoping for a viral hit and actually running a real, sustainable business. It transforms your hustle from a game of chance into a system with real infrastructure. Okay, but here's the catch, right? How do you maintain a community like this without completely burning yourself out? This is a huge stumbling block for creators who feel like they have to become a nonstop content machine. Well, there's a really innovative model that actually solves this problem. And this comparison here is just perfect. Instead of the Netflix model on the left, you know, that content treadmill that always leads to burnout, you've got the fan game on the right. This model turns your community into an actual engine for your growth.
You stop being a content factory and you start building a system where people can participate.
So here's how it actually works. In this model, your fans aren't just consuming stuff. They're competing, they're contributing, they're climbing a ladder. You create actions that help you grow, like sharing links or creating their own content, and you reward them with status, with roles, with access. The subscription isn't the final product. It's really the ticket to play a game where loyalty is visible and that status is earned.
Now, this approach is incredibly powerful, but it's not a magic bullet. Let's be real for a second. It's a serious commitment that comes with its own set of challenges. So let's take a look at the whole picture.
It's really a trade-off. On one hand, you get this unbreakable loyalty and all the creative freedom that comes with predictable revenue. But in exchange, it requires relentless consistency and some real emotional labor to lead a community. Growth is definitely slower, but it's so much deeper and way more durable.
So at the end of the day, what are we really talking about? This isn't just another marketing tactic. This is a fundamental change in how value and culture and loyalty are all being built. You can think of it as the new infrastructure for anyone who's looking to create a lasting impact in a world that is just saturated with noise.
And that really leaves us with one big question to think about. In a world of infinite noise and fleeting attention, the future might not belong to those who can shout the loudest, but to those who can build worlds where people truly want to belong. So the real question is, are you just chasing attention, or are you building an ecosystem?
Hi, this is Arsenio. Thanks a million for tuning in and listening to the G-Ray Records Music Network. Also, you might want to check out the amazing G-Ray Records podcast when you find the time you enjoy.